Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, June 1st, and we basically wasted an hour trying to get 2 Druid victories and got none. Let's play the Murlocs, and then I think we'll just move over to the Americas account. Meanwhile, we're trying to get victories just in general to get back up to rank 20, but who knows if that really matters. I've got a ton of games and we're not getting anywhere, so I cannot find a faster way to go through these games and give them a fair shake, so I guess I have to give them an unfair shake. There's this game I'm looking at called This Door. This 1999. It is some weird claymation game. It says it's an early access action adventure simulation. It looks like a farming game where you're building a farm and building a whole life there, but the claymation element is crazy. It seems like it takes you to a different area where you fight creatures, much like Minecraft, and then it turns the game into a twin stick shooter, and I don't understand why you would make this game in a PlayStation animation style. I don't understand why you would just kind of blatantly rip off Minecraft and other survival games. The only other game they've made is called Don't Open the Doors, and it's rated very positive at 86%. And it's the exact same clay animation style and looks exactly like the same game, except for now instead of growing farms, it seems like you're just running around doing RPG elements. So they took something they had created and they're trying to sell it as 2 separate games. This really has kind of like an LSD trip feel to it, where
we have many,
or a magic mushroom trip feel to it. I don't see anything here that interests me though, so whatever. Gematsu has an article. Sinrin Kagura Burst Renewal PS4 at the Seams and tailor-made editions have been announced for North America. One includes rubber straps, the other does not. Which we need to get into the details here of what they're talking about, rubber straps.
But we fight. Hey, catch!
Let's keep playing. So, At the Seams edition includes let me zoom in on this picture a little bit more so I can read the text in the picture. Let's see. I don't know what they mean by straps. It seems like they're keychains. Is what they're calling them, because they're these little chibi characters of the Sinrin Kagura Ninja Girls with the big busts. If you're not familiar with the series, which fair enough if you're not. And so then there's these small, what they call chibi versions of the Ninja Girls on keychains, and you get 6 of those in the all at the seams, as in it's busting at the seams type game. You also get the PS4 game, you get a 2-disc CD soundtrack, and exclusive DLC content, and then apparently the 6 rubber straps, as they're calling them, also come with display stands. The DLC includes Yumi. Fan favorite Yumi becomes a playable character with an exclusive episode. Renewal Old Hanzo uniform and Burst Girls uniforms, so 2 costumes, and Lovey-Dovey couple diorama pose set. The tailor-made edition, on the other hand, includes everything except for those keychain straps. Now, when I looked at this first, I thought the CD soundtrack was going to have what often is a popular thing in the West, but in the East, in Japan, but has never really come over to the West, which is computer mouse pads that are designed to look like the busts and cleavage. This is flashing every time I do damage. And so I thought it was coming with 2 busty mouse pads, but no, those are actually the CDs. It's surprising that even this much is coming to the West. Senran Kagura is still coming to the West, certainly, and that's in itself a little surprising because more and more Japanese people are becoming more defensive against people who complain against overly sexualized games. Like Senran Kagura, to the point where they're just like, we're not gonna sell it in the West. We don't want to hear all the SJWs complaining. But I think Senran Kagura is too big of a series to let that bring them down. Moving on. Cultist Simulator is out. It's a game that's been hyped a lot and talked about. It's mostly positive at 78% of 93 user reviews. Came out May 31st. That's not information. Cultist Simulator, for the most part, is a card game, and it honestly doesn't look that good. Like, there's a lot of just... What would be a good word to say?
Your magic shall not save
you. There's a lot of heart missing, it feels like. Because the cards are just being played on a boring table with no art design on it. Seems like when you play cards you get these story prompts that are just a pop-up window that aren't full screen. People must like it, but I bet people that like it like to read, and I'm not sure I'd want that. There's no full audio listed, and I heavily suspect you wouldn't have that, so if you were going to have a card game with a lot of text, I'd like to have some voice acting behind it. This is another one of those games that also is trying to sell itself on controversy, slight controversy. It's a dangerous attempt always, because you may go too far and have actual controversy instead of what you're actually trying to accomplish. Negative reviews say, first not recommended review says this game is maddeningly obtuse, and then skip down to too long didn't read. It says if you like Sunless Seas or Fallen London's writing but were frustrated with the tedious mechanism, this game is even worse. The devs are obviously very good writers who don't know how to make the bits of the game that make it a game and not a novel. Next not recommended review starts a promising game buried under bad game design. Here's one that says this game isn't straight up bad, but it's far inferior to Sunless Seas. And the reason in particular that I say this game is overhyped, by the way, is because it was PC Gamer who was overhyping Sunless Sea games that was overhyping this. So that makes me further suspect it is that PC gamers getting paid to promote games from this developer or similar kinds of games because they have some kind of strange bias. And I already looked at some of these and didn't want to do it. Publisher's Humble Bundle. Developer is called Weather Factory. Humble Bundle. Let's see. I don't think the publisher called Humble Bundle here has anything to do with the Humble Bundle website, though. Maybe, maybe not. Humble Bundle also made the game Them Fighting Herds, which is one that caught my attention because it's basically My Little Pony characters fighting each other. I'm gonna double check and make sure that's in my wish list, but I'm not bothered to do Cultist Simulator. If it's in there, fine, I'll look at it, but now that I've seen it, I'll probably remove it. Just looks boring on its own screenshots, and inherently, if it's not visually appealing, it's just not gonna sell me. Apparently, there's a game called Adeptus Titanicus Dominus, which is part of the Warhammer 40k universe of some sort. Let's see. It's rated positive, 95% of 23 user reviews. It's from Membrane Studios, who apparently hasn't made anything else. Early access, 30% off for $6.99. I suppose if you're in the Warhammer 40k, you're going to have to do your own research and find out if this is one of the good ones or one of the bad ones, because I'm so out of field for that I just don't have a clue. Seems to be a tactic-based game. Next game we have is called Milanoir, M-I-L-A-N-O-I-R. It says it's a sexual content, action, adventure, indie, violent are the tags. What kind of game is this really though? Trailer's not showing me. It looks what I would call a 16-bit era pixel game. Looks like you're gonna do a bank robbery and some other crimes as an Italian gangster. Do some shooting as a gameplay mechanic, maybe sneaking around as a gameplay mechanic. Not seeing anything here that inherently looks great. Let's see, and now I need to play 13 more Murlocs. See, this game is $12.99, no discount. It's from a game developer who's made nothing else, and a publisher who published Oh Sir the Insult Simulator and Oh Sir the Hollywood Roast, which I think I own one or two of those games. As at some point I was gonna play those. A game called Redeemer. I think I remember looking at that. They also own Pathologic Classic HD.
None will survive.
And there's another Oh Sir. It's just
Greetings, traveler.
like, how many Insult Simulator versions do you need? Hard Reset Extended Edition. I tried to play that, I think, and that didn't work. So this publisher has published a lot, and the publisher is calling itself Good Shepherd Entertainment, and that seems like a weird name for a publisher. Not a terrible name, but slightly weird. But as far as Milanoir, it doesn't look like it has a gameplay mechanic that would interest me, particularly for such a high price. And it's 4 positive reviews, one of which is in English apparently. Let's move on to the next game. Like, I'm literally opening more tabs instead of closing tabs at this point. Redeemer came out August 1st, and it's a beat 'em up fighting game, single player. I'll look at that, see if that's wishlisted. Maybe it isn't, maybe it isn't. Keep on playing. I should put something over here on the other side of this guy.
Repent.
Next game we have is called Hexion. It's an early access action indie strategy VR game. Watching a trailer of it, it seems like you're mostly standing and shooting. It's an online multiplayer VR game, early access, 30% for $6.99. Well, I'm certainly not going to play that. One not recommended review says dead game at launch, which is probably true for a lot of games. And I keep forgetting to put it over on the other side. Let's see, next game we have is called OIK Memory 2, which this seems like it is literally just a one-screen game of playing memory, where the lights light up and then you have to repeat the pattern. It has 2,070 achievements, so that's all we really need to know about it. Who cares if it's 79 cents? Who cares if the developer has made several other versions of the exact same game, OIK series? Because we now know for a fact that they are just achievement. Okay, I can play this actually and silence this guy. This and this. Next game we have on Steam is called Smoke and Sacrifices. It's a RPG adventure indie survival crafting game, and I do believe I even heard my own voice go up with interest looking at this because it looks like a real game. It's positive 80% of 15 user reviews, so not a lot yet as far as high reviews, but then I am looking at games the day they come out.
Let me think.
It's a fast action RPG game. Doesn't seem like the game is cluttered with a ridiculously large amount of interfaces and screens. I should have played the Murloc. Well, I got a victory, but I didn't need a victory. I needed to play Murlocs. Still need to play 10 Murlocs. Yeah, I don't think my Murloc deck is that good, because it's an HS replay Murloc deck when I could just be building something else. The other game from this developer, apparently, that made Smoke and Sacrifice, is The Flame and the Flood, which is a game that's relatively recent, and they were giving it away on the Humble Store. It's apparently not the same, and its recent giving away for free moved its most recent reviews to mixed versus mostly positive over the lifetime. So maybe there's some trouble with Flame in the Flood that I haven't heard about. This game has a Metacritic scale rating that this game that I'm looking at right now, called Smoke and Sacrifice, has a Metacritic score of 69%, which is not great, but it's something worth the wish list. Particularly when I come crawling out of the mud of just terrible low-effort games that most of the things are.
Well met.
All these scams. Is this? I guess that is the question. Is the real world full of so many scams? Probably. Maybe there's a little bit more of a societal control and a just policing of scams, but I imagine there are as many, or if not more, scams in the real world. But you generally don't go to a grocery store and have downright scam products. You just kind of don't. Like, the can of peas has peas in it, even if the peas might be bad or not flavored well, or slightly B tier instead of A tier. You're not going to open a can of peas and find a jar of broken glass in it, usually. Whereas, who knows what you get with half of these games. We've got a game here called Just Shapes and Beats, which is some kind of bullet hell rhythm game with a great soundtrack. Rhythm games I'm alright with, bullet hell games I'm not, so it's 10% off for $17.99. And I just, as I'm trying to go through these games quicker, I'm not sure I trust this one enough to wishlist it. It's also lacking in some visual appeal because it is just a bunch of shapes and beats. Berserk Studio, which has made a couple other games that are positively rated, but I'm still not gonna friend it. Still not going to wishlist it. So Hearthstone had another article. I don't know why they start. Maybe this is their new thing they're gonna do, called Developer Insights Arena with Chris Zhut, and it's supposed to talk about the buckets and card weights and things like microjunctions adjustments. It's really just kind of an introductory thing, and it's not giving out exact information that people who are playing Arena on Hearthstone all the time would want, but that stuff is highly kept secret. Let's do this. And close to victory, if not victory. PC Gamer has an article. How Frame brings everything together to make great chases and escapes. This noir comic book puzzles of frames games have finally made it to PC as the Framed Collection. I've already got the Framed Collection in my wish list, so I don't have to really worry about that. At some point I would like to get around to playing it, but I could say that for so many games. There is a question I have about what is the first day of a month like for most Hearthstone players? Is it what I have, where it's still as much of a struggle as ever? Or is it really easy because all the noobs are here and you can just jump up 4 or 5 levels that you get knocked down? One would assume that the plan of them knocking you down ranks at the end of the month is to make an average player spend the entire month to get back up to that point. So for me, if I end at rank 20, it takes me a month to end at rank 20. I'm certainly not seeing any progress where I'm making it to like rank 19, and then the next month I'd be at rank 18. But that also inherently implies that if you start as a new player, you're not getting to rank 10 until you've played for 10 months at least, and probably a lot longer than that. Anyways, next game we have is called Cool Dragon. I don't want to get off topic too much. It looks like a boring one-screen game with ugly color palette. 40% off for $2.39. And yeah, the only other game that's been rated by this developer was rated mixed. So we can close that tab. Next game we have is called The Painter's Apprentice. It seems like it might be a point-and-click adventure, maybe not. Maybe just a platformer. And it doesn't look great. Which is funny because I thought this developer... no. It looks like this is a cell phone port too. So we'll just ignore that. 15% off for $8.49. No thank you to that. Let's place this and this. Next game is all in Chinese. As one of these visual novels, free-to-play games that's only in Chinese. It's free, so price is right, but I can't tell you the name because the name's all in Chinese, the description's all in Chinese. All I can do is potentially try and describe the graphics, but that's not going to matter either.
Do you need a blessing?
They're going pretty young on one of the characters that seems like the main character anime girl you're talking to. So, I mean, I have no idea what's going on or how you're interacting with this character, but it does seem like the only human character I see is being animated as a elementary school child. Which I don't think Steam will be too happy about that.
Hey, catch! Repent!
But maybe Steam only cares about things like that when it is released in English and people can complain. As long as it's released in Chinese only, maybe nobody will complain. Although frankly I think China would complain too. Moving on, there's a game called Kingmaker Rise to the Throne. This is an action, casual, hidden object fantasy mystery game. So a hidden object game set in medieval times, might as well. Far too many of them are set in modern times for no reason, and then you have to have the character travel to a fantasy world for no reason.
Hey, catch!
So this is a hidden object game. It's 20% off for $11.99. Hidden object games are too expensive. It is made from a developer who hasn't made anything else, and it's being published by a publisher who has published, it looks like, a nice collection. Quite a few hidden object games, like apparently 80. If I was to guess, I bet it's less than that. Each for $10, each positively reviewed, so they're giving you what you want. Inherently, I don't think buying a hidden object game is something I should do anymore. I've covered enough of them in my opinion, and just don't think it's a worthwhile use of my time. And they tend to be way too expensive, and hidden object games should be around $2 or $3. Next game we have is a game called Quantum Replica. Well, that does not look visually appealing. Alright, that does. It's weird glitching going on, and the frame was stuck on a single scene of glitching. But then it's just a top-down twin-stick shooter game where you're not even going to see those graphics that were being shown in the trailer. Do I have anything here that interests me? 15% off for $13.99. It says it's fast-paced stealth action gameplay where you're doing something similar to Deus Ex, where you're getting behind people and snapping their necks, choking them out.
Dark mage. Well played.
You know, I don't want to get too picky here, so I think Quantum Replica deserves a chance. So I'm gonna wishlist it and keep an eye on it. The publisher publishes only good games. The developer studio hasn't made anything else, but the game doesn't look awful. It's just a zoomed out perspective that may be hiding a little bit of the quality that you could be having. Let's see, I'm on a streak now, so I don't want to lose this streak, even though I've played the Miralax. Now let's play one more game. Next game we have is a game called Love is Dead. I believe I've already seen a game made by this developer. No, apparently not. Not according to Steam.
Uther versus Jaina.
It's from a publisher who's published
You asked for it.
mostly good
I will
games.
fight with honor.
The animation style though doesn't look great. It looks like this is a simplistic kind of puzzle game. That might have some kind of political spin.
Hello.
Let's see.
Well met.
Like earlier today in the stream, I talked about a game that looked like a German game that was teaching people how to speak in German with different pronouns, and I thought it was a transgendered pronoun related game in some way, whether it was attacking that idea or supporting that idea. I'm not even sure what it would have been doing, if that's really what it was. Here in Love is Dead, there's an actual screen that says define your pronouns, and you're just typing in exactly what you want to be called, or what you want the characters to be called. 10% off, $10.79. Frankly, the game just doesn't look good. Let's see, the one negative review, apparently not in my language. Yep. Yep, there's nothing about Love is Dead that catches my attention, so move on. Apparently Airport Simulator 2019, which has only been out for 2 days, had an interested crowd because 16 user reviews have given it enough negative reviews to make it only 18% positive. So that is an incredibly low score, and 10% off of $17.99. I think that's pretty much all I need to say about it. Airport Simulator seems like you're not even playing as an airplane. You're driving a truck around an airport.
Let me think.
In a weird twist, I suppose.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, you're just driving different vehicles around to load up the planes. You're not driving the planes. And so I could certainly understand a lot of frustration calling the game Airport Simulator alone. Let's see, what's this next game? I don't even need to talk about this game. I think it's called Teva TVA 2. It's 40% off for 59 cents. It looks like it's a garbage game. Just a simple school project of a game, not something that deserves to be on Steam.
Reporting for duty.
Gamasutra has an article, Get a Job, Wargaming Chicago, Baltimore is hiring a technical animator. So apparently in Chicago, Illinois would be where you're working, or Baltimore. Next game we have on Steam is called Vector's Adventures. It looks like garbage too. I really want to take a moment here to say I don't know how I could look at all these games and not also be in the process of playing Hearthstone and getting daily quests done. Like, if I was to, for some reason, just stop playing Hearthstone right now, forever, I would immediately, in the same breath, have to stop looking at all the new games. I wish there was a slightly better system than I had, certainly, where I could show these games on screen and show the Steam pages, because inherently I'm just sorting through them and looking at them myself, and if they're good, they end up in my wish list if I want them. So people can kind of look at my wish list as some kind of curation, or my wish list as at least a curation of new games that I might want to play, but you'd probably be better off just watching my footage and actual criticism of games, unless you've played all the games that I've already played. As for Vector's Adventure, it's nothing worth mentioning. PC Gamer has an article, Ascension is a great intro to deck building games. Revisiting this classic card game, its refined Steam version retaught me the fundamentals of deck building. So, I don't know, maybe I would think about playing Ascension at some point. Is there a link even here? For this PC Gamer article? No. Apparently it's the 2010 version of Ascension, the deck building game, which is rated 85% positive recently, and mostly positive, 74% positive in its entire life, which is probably the more important way to phrase that. Now, this is a not a collectible card game, so it gets a little weird to play something like Ascension, which is on sale for $9.99 with no discount. It'd be weird. It has 9 full expansions, but I don't think you're collecting any cards. So you just, I would have a very, very different experience, but still a slightly odd experience of having 2 card games on my channel at the same time. But I guess at some point I'm gonna have to do that. Moving on, Gamatsu has Higurashi no Neku Koro ni Hao for Switch movie. What is that? I don't know. Let's watch the opening movie and see if we can figure it out. It's a visual novel of some kind, according to the tags. Let's see. And attack here. Come on, opening movie. Give me an idea of what's going on. Seems like zombies attack a neighborhood or something, and everybody gets stuck in this forested area. Kind of looks like High School for the Dead, but it's not the same characters. Yeah, so it's some kind of visual novel where a bunch of anime kids get stuck in a deep in the forest neighborhood city, not like Tokyo, and they have to survive, but in visual novel form, remember, so your whether you survive or not may be predetermined and may have very little to do with much of anything other than the fact that you're making the right decisions. Is this one coming to the West? It's coming to the Switch in Japan on July 26th. I wouldn't be surprised if this one doesn't come to the West. Let's see. It's still got a ton of games. I talked about that. Maybe we don't. Maybe we'll get really lucky and find that I just have a ton of duplicate tabs because that plugin that I specifically installed to not have duplicate things is literally not working. Yeah, I've just gone through like 5 things that were duplicates, 7 things that were duplicates. And see, inherently this might mean that we are closer to the end than I think, which isn't a terrible problem, but it will be a little bit of an issue if I just run out of things. We've got a game called Turbo Tunnel. We've seen this game so many times where you're flying a vehicle through a pipe. The pleasure is mine. This one's animated decently well, but the graphics doesn't look... Oh, this guy's waiting for me to end my turn. Sorry. Turbo Tunnel is free, so the price is right, so I guess I don't really have to criticize it any more than that. If you want to play it, it seems like a decent game, particularly considering you're getting it for free. I've certainly seen much worse versions of that game where you have to pay a higher price. Now we've got a game called Courtyard Broomball, which is a terribly animated game of people playing Quidditch, but not Harry Potter playing Quidditch where they can actually fly on the brooms, but people who are obsessed with Harry Potter playing Quidditch, so they're running around with a broom in between their legs, pretending they can fly but not actually flying. And remember, it's terribly animated. It's not even widescreen. It's so badly animated. 10% off for $8.99. This is a joke. Let's see. Let's go ahead and the pleasure squelch. Is mine. Squelch. And this is the only game from that developer, so let's close that. Is this game in English? No, this game is only in German. So, just like the Chinese only games and Japanese only games, there's really no reason to cover this one. So, moving on. It's pretty rare to get a game on Steam that only is in German. We had somebody on the chat, Kako Gombo, that said hi and bye. I guess okay, hi and bye. Thanks for saying anything. Actually, pretty good day as far as chat comments. Particularly considering this is a Friday, and usually on Fridays there's considerably fewer commenters. Let's play this here and here. Next game we have is called Sea of Memories. It says optical illusions reach virtual reality. It seems kind of like a almost. Let me look at the trailer a little bit more before I call it a Myster-like game, but I think it is sort of a VR attempt at something in the spirit of Myst. It's not a Myst game from Cyan, the developers of Myst, but you have this book of memories. You're apparently on a boat, and when you look around, it seems like you can make little holograms of your memories appear. Let's do this, and then do this, and this. Attack. Game requires VR, so I'll never play it. It's 30% off for $6.99. It says 100 puzzle levels based on optical illusions, so it seems like it's probably going to be somewhat like The Witness, but nowhere as polished as The Witness was.
So many options.
I'd almost keep this one on a follow though, so I am actually gonna follow this because the idea isn't terrible if it ever comes to a point that I have VR or have some other.
Your magic shall not save you.
I give up.
There we go. So not only was that person annoying, but they still lost, and we're still on our streak. And so there's no reason to stop playing if you're on a win streak. That being said, once I get all the news done here, I may go into a silent post show and just continue to play and do daily quests, because if I can get everything done quickly and do a silent post show, I'd prefer to do that. Next game we have on Steam is called Zombie World. With a name like that, you don't expect much, and well, the graphics look alright, and it doesn't look like it is in a 100% asset flip. It seems like the zombies are giant zombies.
My fury.
I will fight with honor.
Interesting, and like even the rats that are running around in the trailer seem like they are giants, but the animation does not look good. It says it's M for mature, and then it's giving out 5 achievements, one of which is a picture of Donald Trump, so this feels like a fake game now. And it requires virtual reality. See, apparently you play as a zombie for some of the game. Yeah, I don't see anything here that looks good. It's 15% off for $14.44, and that's at a 15% discount. No, thank you. Let's see. Start with this. We've got a game called Echoes of the Past Wolf Healer Edition. It says it's an adventure casual. Almost certainly it's a hidden object game. Yeah, it's a hidden object game. Which again could be good, could be bad, but it's $12.99, so until these games get cheaper, I'm not interested in them. It's from a developer who has put out several hidden object games, none of which have been reviewed. Which I just saw a whole series of hidden object games that were reviewed positively, so I probably should play those. Maybe this is counter-programming. Big Fish Games is the publisher that floods Steam with hidden object games, very few of which are positively reviewed or reviewed at all. Could simply be trying to counter-advertise so that they against a better publisher who's releasing a better product. Alright, now we've got Keko Gombo asking why you have 0 viewers. If it says 0 views, it's because YouTube is messed up, obviously. And what are you talking about, man? I'm talking about games that came out in the past 2 days on Steam. Sorry if that's not clear enough, but he's probably just a troll too, so he's probably just gonna put a bunch of other garbage on it. The next game that came out on Steam is written in Chinese, so I can't talk about that game. That's alright. It's not a good game anyways. PC Gamer has an article, survivor horror game Agony is too dark for its own goal. Literally, I can't see a thing. Agony has come and gone, it seems, in less than a week. I know PewDiePie tried to play it, and I didn't really see anybody else. In fact, oddly, I saw somebody play the new Cluedo game on YouTube and get some extra attention for doing that instead. So yeah, Agony was a kickstarted game that was selling on being extremely violent and grotesque, and now it seems like while that got a lot of advertisers, people, a lot of articles about the game, it didn't actually translate into real world interest where people actually played it, at least not yet. Also, probably releasing a couple weeks before E3 was a bad idea. Now, Kaku is asking me to play with Exodia Mage deck, please. If only I had Exodia in Hearthstone. There probably is a meta deck called Exodia Mage deck, but I'm not going to waste my time building a new deck, and frankly I don't have the cards, so I can't. I'm almost certain that I don't have whatever cards would be needed to make the meta decks, because I am playing right now, as best as I can tell, the best meta decks that my collection on my Asian account, European account that I'm playing right now can do. And I've kind of got stuck playing on my European account because I'm having a win streak and I don't want to break win streaks. TechRaptor has an article, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection Review, The Legend of Dick Jumpsy, which there's some major problems with whatever emulator is running these Street Fighter games, and it's just jumping back and forward. There's limited online support also, which is an issue, and apparently clunky menus and a lack of playable extras. So I've heard that even for PC there's better versions than this 30th anniversary version of the Street Fighter games. So the whole project feels like it was a waste of effort just to try and sell the game one more time to fans, and I don't think you can get away with that when people already have PC versions. Next game we have is called Defender Faith on Steam. It's a black and white platformer with pixel graphics. It looks like the developer tried here, but in the end it's still a 59-cent game, and it doesn't look like it's really that good. It's the only game from this developer, and the publisher has published mostly mixed or negative games. Let's go ahead and
Your magic shall not save you.
play this.
For justice.
Attack here. So that's another game I can just ignore. Next game on Steam is called Paintball War. It's mostly negative with 29% of 74 user reviews. So it's free to play and it's still mostly negative. Do I really need to read a review? Says the not recommended review says the gunplay in this game is terrible due to poor audio visual feedback and some ridiculous spread on the main paintball gun. Don't need to go any further to understand that a paintball game doesn't work if it doesn't feel like paintball. I think I've lost here. Let's see how this saves me. We've got a game called Various, V-A-R-I-U-S. It seems like it is just a color shifting wall bouncing game. It's kind of like Arkanoid. It's doing something slightly different, I would say, but not enough to really catch my attention. And say it was worth the $1.59. Even it's not asking that much, and it's still not worth it, in my opinion. Alright. So that broke the streak on that one, which we'll probably have to come back in the post show and play for Druid Victories. Let's move over to my main Americas account, which still probably couldn't play an Exodia deck. Whatever that is. The thing about Hearthstone and people naming meta decks too is they don't really know what they mean. They've just seen some other streamer name a deck something, and then without saying to me, play this guy's deck, here's is the website that says what cards are in that deck. There's really no way for me to replicate it, and there's almost certainly a large selection of interesting that these extra cards, card backs, are taking up more space. So this is the new card back we got. There's really no way for me to duplicate other people's decks. I could get close, but not guaranteed to hit it. Okay, we need pirates, right? That was what we were looking for. Pirates. Play 6 pirates. Shouldn't be too hard. We have a pirate that we can play, and we didn't even get it to rank 19, so we're at rank 24, so we could use some victories. The next game we have on Steam is called Project Nightmares Case 36 Henrietta Kedward, which, okay. This is one of those games that it is a dark screenshots for everything. Dark screenshot syndrome. You're holding a candle that illuminates things a little bit better, but it means in every single screenshot now you see yourself holding a candle. There's something here though to this game. If it sticks up to the level of quality that I'm seeing in these screenshots in this trailer, it actually looks like it might be something that's playable. There's been some horror games like the Amnesia series that this would be right in line with. Walking around a spooky house and picking up objects and maybe solving a few puzzles. I actually have several of those Amnesia series games and haven't gotten around to playing them. As a side note, probably should. Let's see. There's 3 user reviews on this game because it's brand new. It seems like the crazy lady that's chasing you will just bite your head off. Requires a third-party EULA, which is crazy. It's early access, $12.99. Let's see what the reviews say, though. There's 5 positive ones and 1 negative one. And the 1 negative one is like in Russian, so I can't really read that review. It says it's rated M for mature from the ESRB. I guess I'm gonna be kind of happy to see the ESRB stop allowing people to automatically rate themselves through just a website for digital distribution, because that's all they're doing right now. Is you can go to a website, and if your game has the elements that you check out through the checkboxes, you're given a rating. And there's no oversight on it. This developer is also the publisher. They're calling themselves NC, which, alright. And this is the first game they've ever made, so I'm gonna put Project Nightmares, Case 36, Henrietta Kedward, like, all of that doesn't need to be in the name. You could have cut it straight down to Project Nightmares. You could have cut it down to Henrietta Kedward. I don't think Kedward's a great name. It sounds like a fake name. You could have called it Project Nightmares Case 36, but you don't need all of that in one long title. But I will wishlist that. Let's see. Next game we have on the Steam is called Nico Boom, one word, N-E-K-O-B-O-O-M. It says it has nudity, adventure, sexual content, indie, and casual. It seems like it is a... Alright. Free victories. I will take free victories. It seems like it is cat girls, not animated great, so it's going to be a Western attempt. It has a kind of Dance Revolution music fighting mechanism on top of some bad text pop-up screens, which I still think this is heavily going to be a visual novel. Like, you don't really get away from it too much. This problem. And then the question is, what languages is it? It's English, Simplified, Chinese, and Russian, so that tells me that it is probably a cheap Chinese knockoff of a visual novel. It says it's rated adults only for nudity, sexual themes, strong sexual content, and mild suggestive language. This will be interesting to see if this one actually stays on Steam. Has like 1 positive review and that's it. Like, I'm not sure how many adults only games are on Steam, but my guess is the number is less than 1 usually. This one might catch your interest if you have a particular fetish for an older style of anime that's not as good, and cat girls and or music games. And the older style being that the characters are drawn taller and they're not going for the shorter, younger looking animation style that has become more recent. Excuse me. It really isn't a visual novel, though. I guess it really isn't, because the characters are also walking around. Doesn't mean it's a good game, but it kind of falls too far from a field to be called a visual novel. It's some kind of music adventure game. There is a long collection of games where you just walk down a hallway and hack and slash or attack people, though, that are bad. And I haven't seen a lot of them lately, but there's been a lot of them in the past decades. PC Gamer has an article, Great Moments in PC Gaming, the Dark Carnival level in Blood. Blood apparently is some kind of Wolfenstein Doom. Yeah, it's like a Doom-like game. And I don't know why PC Gamer is talking about this game Blood. I've never even heard of it. It came out in 1997 from Monolith Productions. Seems like what happened on PC Gamer this week is that they packed up and went to E3, and because they packed up and went to E3, they couldn't actually write about any news, and therefore instead they made a bunch of pointless articles that have no relevancy to what's actually happening this week. Your Gamer has an article, Your Gamer Q&A Dream Remastered, Remake Me Whole Again. So I guess this is asking people, what would you like to see made? One person says Spy vs. Spy. One says Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. Okay. I could see wanting to play that game as a beat 'em up. One person says Jade Empire, which probably should be, if it's the game I'm thinking about, that probably should be remade. One person says Time Splitters 2. Yeah, it's fan loved enough. One person says Grandia, Grandia, never heard of it. It looks like a JRPG, so it's probably beloved by a niche audience. Nothing really there. That is probably yet another example of your gamer packing up to go to E3 and thus not having any content. Next game we have is called Dude Stop. It's a puzzle, funny comedy with pixel graphics and 2D things. Let's see. You're dragging Legos on a floor with pixel graphics. You're putting a postage stamp in the wrong place. You're plugging in the charger the wrong way. So this looks like what this is a WarioWare-esque game. 10% off for $13.49. I think I'll keep an eye on it, put it in the wish list. It's got 24 positive and 1 negative review, and the 1 negative review is not even in my language. Just keep pumping this guy up.
Here we go.
The one negative review says there's only about an hour and a half of content in the game. But I think at that level, I still, knowing it's a WarioWare game and knowing that I'll still wishlist it, but $13.50 for an hour and a half content is a very bad metric, and I don't care what anybody says. I will personally always consider hours of gameplay as a factor, at least, when purchasing a game.
Here we go.
Kako Gombo, Kaka Gombo, whatever. Oh, I just got what your troll name is. Says, do you play Arena? I haven't been able to get around the Arena in a very long time because, frankly, people much prefer that I not spend and waste gold playing Arena runs. They prefer for me to buy card packs when the new expansion happens, because that's when the vast majority of anybody who views my Hearthstone videos is when I do card pack openings. So I thought about doing Arena at Wednesday, and I thought maybe I'd have enough time for it. But the thing that has to happen for me to play Arena is I have to have all the daily quests from all three of my accounts. So my America's account, my European account, and my Asian account have to have all those daily quests done. And then I'd prefer not to be covering news and talking about games. And I'm still working on that today, right now. So I could actually focus on an Arena run. And then I kind of want to have the Arena in a good shape, because they do these little adjustments on Arena, and sometimes it's a good time to play Arena, and sometimes it isn't. And I would like to have a lot more gold than I do. So there's just so many factors and so many reasons not to play Arena, particularly since I know I'm going to go 3 losses in a row on Arena, and I'm just not going to gain back that 150 gold I enter. If there are free Arena runs, I will certainly do that. I have done Arena runs in the past, but I've never gotten very high in them. And so I'm just not to that level. I don't have a good amount of skill. Moving on, the next game we have on Steam is called Deconstructor. It's for kids. It has a very much Lego theme to it. It's Lego pieces on a Lego, what looks like a single screen. But if I was to guess, what this really is a Lego-styled Arkanoid game. And that means the graphics don't really justify their appearance, and this whole thing just falls apart and doesn't make any sense. Why have Lego bricks as the bricks in Arkanoid? So, easy enough choice to close Deconstructor. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article about the game St. Christopher's School Lockdown. Their article is St. Christopher's School Lockdown Impressions - a learning experience. It's worth pointing out that when I first looked at this game, I thought it was going to be a lockdown because there was like a school shooting or something. Actually, no, it's the students locked down the school to protest like raising tuition rates or something, or the teachers not getting raises, something like that. So you don't have to immediately think that this is I think it's a point-and-click adventure game. It's not around something horrifically traumatic, at least as far as I know. So this is a TechRaptor review talking about this game. It's on PC, and it's also on itch.io for DRM free. Let's see. The Tech Raptor's final paragraph says, gotta make sure I'm playing pirates. I think I keep not playing pirates. And that's not helping anything. The last paragraph says, St. Christopher's School Lockdown is at its heart a clever game with snappy writing, bright characters, and wonderful unique premise. Its execution, however, leaves much to be desired. Still, despite the bugs and many setbacks I encountered, I still somehow ended up loving the game. It's a breath of fresh air in a genre that tends to get wrapped up in fantasy and mystery. I'm eagerly awaiting the patches on the first chapter as well as the continuation of the story in the second. If you're looking for beta testers, call me and we can work something out. I don't think you should ask for a job as when you're reviewing a game. That seems unethical, even if you're just saying that to be quippy. So apparently this tells me two things I did not know about the game St. Christopher's School Lockdown. One, it's unfinished, and two, it's buggy. But that's still I'm still gonna keep an eye on it.
I wonder.
Like, came out October 18th, 2017 according to Steam, and it only has 4 user reviews, which is weird. Weird in a couple ways, because I know I've come across this game before, so it's either been in early access or in some other way available for purchase.
Too soon.
Let's see. First review says not recommended when you have 21.4 hours on it. Man, this is a super long review. Not recommended. Sometimes it's a very good thing that I don't buy games as soon as I see them, and I keep an eye on them and see where they are. Because, like, this does not imply to me that it is a part 1 of a continued game. It implies to me it's a fully finished product.
Desperate seas I roam.
Let's see.
Let me go home!
Scurvy dog! Scurvy dog! Well played.
Here we have a question. Do you think the world would be different if Steve Jobs was alive? It doesn't have much to do with video games. Although, in all honesty, Steve Jobs did not like one bit and resented that video games helped push the iOS store to be as successful as it is. Of course the world would be different. Everything would, like, how different? I don't know. Probably we would have had a bit fewer iOS Apple devices. We would have had a little bit better vision, but I don't think too much else would have really changed. The thing I guess to remember is that because we need to get Druid cards, right? That's what we're doing. Yeah, Druid class cards. Because Apple had so much money, when he died, it'd be unlikely that he could have run Apple into the ground and caused it to change too much. So Apple still would be a major company. He would still be probably in charge of it, and he'd just be taking it in a ever so slightly different direction. Not much else would probably have changed.
Versus Uther.
Next game we have on Steam is called Love Bites.
The forest fights
Play as a
back.
male or female in this horror dating sim. A curse was cast upon you. Can your love be a cure for what ails you? I assume this is either a werewolf or a vampire. It's an indie casual gore, sexual content, adventure according to the tags. Let's scroll through these things. It doesn't look like it's 100% a visual novel. It looks like there's half that and half a system of buying elements and items for use. So it's kind of like a shop.
Short. What is?
The animation style here is very Western, and I kind of love that it's going in its own way. It's not trying to be a Japanese anime style. It's not trying to be something that it can't ever be, like so many other games. Seems like there's a good mix here of guys and girls, but then it's not like randomly generated guys and girls, so I don't know, maybe you have to play the game twice if you want to see all the interactions with all the characters. 16 achievements, $19.99. There's apparently 4 main characters, which is a little low,
This'll
but
be good.
because 2 of them are male and 2 of them are female, so you're kind of stuck with. You can play as either one of the males and one of the females, and then you can either romance all 4 of the other characters, which that doesn't make sense. Okay, so there's 5 characters in the entire story. And there's 2 variant endings for each love interest based on your choice, which not a bunch of endings. But I never really liked the visual novel thing of play it 20 times over to see every single ending. This is only in English, so it's not a Chinese knockoff, it's not a Russian knockoff. Let's see, it's made by a developer called Winter Wolves, who's made several other games that are rated positive. There's also a lot of games they've made that are mixed at best. So, I don't know, am I wishlisting visual novels these days? Guess I will. I'll do it now and then probably take it off later. Let's see. Now I got a question. What are you expecting from Red Dead Redemption 2? More of the same, I imagine, but slightly better. I'm not expecting it to go in crazy directions. Job's done. I imagine. Did they even announce a Red Dead Redemption 2? The one thing we need is Red Dead on PC for me, because I only play PC games, so I really don't care too much about what Red Dead Redemption 2 does. I just want it to, in general, I suppose I want it to succeed, so I want it to be a good Western story that maybe has little bits here and there that are improvements over Red Dead 1, and less repetitiveness, a quicker story. I tried to play Red Dead 1, and by the time I got to Mexico, I just lost interest and left. So the game could have been half as long, I think, and it would have been fine. It kind of, Red Dead 1 is a GTA in the West, in the Western setting. So I don't think we really need that. I think they should be just almost 100% story based, like all the way through. closer to something like LA Noire, where there wasn't a ton of extra content around what was the story missions. PC Gamer has an article, BlazBlue dev combat spoilers with a non-negotiable streaming guidelines. Arc System Works ain't messing around with the BlazBlue cross tag battle. This is interesting because Arc System Works, I don't believe, is the same company that did the crazy Persona 3 no spoilers guidelines. Says, as detailed in these guidelines, and then it links to the guidelines, but I'm not going to read them because I don't care, because frankly you don't have to follow them or listen if you don't want to anyways. Players are encouraged to stream local and online matches to their heart's content and to post tutorial videos. What players are not permitted to stream is cross-tag battles, episode story mode at all. Just don't read the post. If you have to, very short clips of episode mode content up to chapter 2 are permitted for video content only. Any longer clips, spoilers, or anything else is a danger area, so really just avoid this altogether. Players are also told not to stream or upload music-only content, background music during matches, and within online background music during matches and within online lobbies is fine, says the developers, but the soundtrack rips are not. I don't know why people waste their time with these guidelines and talking down to your audience, basically. Like the people who are going to upload that stuff don't care what you say, and the people who are going to just be playing with themselves and say, oh well, something funny happened here, so let's put it on a service, YouTube or something, so people can see it. Let's see, these rules in general, it says apply across the board with Arc System Works games. We understand how much work you put into your channels and love and appreciate your support. You supporting us by creating content from our games. Unfortunately, these rules are non-negotiable with the powers that be, and will result in your channel being issued a content ID claim, or worse, a channel strike, account suspicion. So really, it just is an admittance by Arc System Works that their management and whoever they've hired to run content ID on YouTube, and content ID is only a YouTube thing, they have like no control over them. And that's pretty much true from my experience on YouTube too, is that if they're searching and content IDing things, they're going to catch every single person they can catch in that wide net, and then they're going to for the most part ignore fair use in total and just claim your content. I guess the good news is that though it's so impossible to make any money on YouTube these days, you might as well just let them claim your video and put ads on it. But this is just a straight up Japanese response being translated into English. The entire non-negotiable streaming guidelines. But guess what? You can't make non-negotiable rules and force other people to follow them unless you're a government. And so the government copyright laws are the only things you really have to follow. And so if you're doing fair use, you can still claim fair use and YouTube won't care, but in the end, if somebody tried to sue you, they would be wasting their time and they're not going to. Anyways.
Get down!
This'll be good.
Wow, victory. Alright, we have a question here. Can we say that Red Dead is a Westworld simulator, so it's a simulation of a simulation. You can say anything you want. Maybe not in my chat, but you can say it out loud to yourself. Like, yeah. I don't have a ton of knowledge of Westworld, but I think an important part of Westworld is the fact that it is a Western world in a simulation, and so you're dealing with stories and characters that are interacting with the outside real world that's running the simulation and the Western world that's in this simulation. That is not what Red Dead Redemption is. Red Dead Redemption is a video game set in the Western world. In theory, yes, every video game is a simulation, but that's a kind of pointless point to make. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Inline. It says it's a casual strategy puzzle game. What is it really? Some kind of single screen puzzle game. It looks kind of like Tetris, but Tetris where the pieces aren't falling down. So it's some kind of puzzle game where you place the pieces to match, I think, where the pattern should be. Kind of not Picross, but somewhat like that. Let me see. Has this developer made anything else? Well, they made a free-to-play game called Learn to Fly 3. This one is pretty expensive at $4.24, with it being on discount for 15% off.
What if?
Yeah, it's a weird Tetris game where you're drawing matches on the outside of a box.
Time goes short.
And the pieces show up in the box, and then you're dragging them. So it's kind of a way of changing the gameplay slightly, but not by much. It's more of a drag and drop type Tetris game. It has 9 positive reviews. You know what? This just doesn't look interesting. I don't think I'd want to cover Tetris either. I'd do like a 5-second spotlight to say, this is Tetris. If you don't know what Tetris is, where have you been living? What rock have you been living under? Next game we have on Steam is called Parkland. Let's see. Seems like it's a decently animated, maybe VR game where you're wandering through a park. No VR. It's 11% off, $2.66, and it's action adventure indie casual strategy. I don't know what this is. We're looking for a manager of a nature park. It seems like you just walk around. Or you're doing something. This looks like a half-finished game that turned into an asset flip, frankly. Because there's nothing here that makes sense to make it a finished product. So I think we can ignore Parkland. Remember, I'm trying to play Druid cards. End the turn. Let's see, Gamatsu has an article. Star Ocean Amnesia is coming to the West in July. That is a cell phone game. Pre-registration is available on Google Play. More and more Japanese cell phone games are making their way to the West. So I guess maybe over the years we might see slightly better cell phone games, but I'm not sure we will. Let's see. That didn't do anything for me. Next game we have is called the Prison Experiment Battle Royale. That seems like that is way too many words and ideas mixed together. So yes, it's an asset flip where you're playing as prisoners with guns playing Battle Royale, which seems just crass. Early access $12.99 seems like a bad idea, and it's the same issue with any battle royale game. Is it's just not a new concept, and it's not got the publishing chops behind it to bring in enough of an audience. So the very first review I see is dead on arrival, which I totally agree with. Nobody's gonna play that game. They're still playing Fortnite. Gematsu has an article, Our World is Ended Director. So the name of the game is Our World is Ended. The director of that game starts work on a New World Project 2, likely for the PS4 Switch. The title will have the word world in it. I assume Our World is Ended is a visual novel of some sort that came out for probably the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 and probably the Vita, but that's all I know. So that's not much of an article, and there's no real guarantee that that's coming to the West. Let's see, next game we have is called The World of Labyrinth Labyronia. What is this really? It seems like a very ugly RPG Maker game. And I hate RPG Maker games, so this one's $1.99 and I have no interest in it. The graphics are very unvisually appealing. Very ugly. I can say it easier just if I say it's ugly. Still need to play Druid class cards. Still need to cover news. Next game on Steam is called Azurian Tales: Trails, an action RPG indie game. Let's see what it is. Kind of a side-scroller beat-em-up smash. I kind of like the idea. Like in one hit, you're just smashing enemies and they're dropping coins. So you're swinging your hammer once, and in that one swing, it's killing a lot of enemies. And then you're running into bigger enemies that take more hits. Rather giant enemies, considering it's a side-scroller 2.5D game. With some jumping over spike pits and running over platforms that collapse. I could imagine this is either very repetitive or not procedurally generated at all, and it's just a rather short experience. Which it might very well be a short experience, but I might be cool with that. It's 20% off for $7.19. Let's see. We've got 4 positive reviews and no negative reviews. I think this is one worth keeping an eye on. Let's see. The only thing that would dissuade me at this point is if the developer publisher is just
We must cleanse
published
the
a
Sunwell.
bunch of terrible games. And that's not the case. I haven't published much of anything, but it says it's punishing levels and brutal enemies to defeat. That's kind of not the gameplay I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is actually rather easy gameplay, and I was more interested in playing it because of that. Well, that'll be interesting, but that doesn't dissuade me enough to not wishlist it. Next game we have on Steam is called Space Force. It's a indie casual racing game where you're flying around. Looks a lot like Race the Sun, except for it's in space and has maybe portals. I don't see a reason why I would play this game instead of Race the Sun. It's 10% off for $1.79, so it's probably pretty short and doesn't have any real variety or interesting things to show you after maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Says it has 5 different spaceships, infinite level design, power-ups. So it's just a procedurally generated endless flyer. And I bet... Nope. This developer has made 2 other games, but neither one of them have been reviewed. Next thing we have is a game called Rocket Valley Tycoon. Almost seems like it's from the developer of some of the other Tycoon games, but no, I guess they're all just designed to look the same.
Let's see.
Whatever this game is, it sure looks boring. It's free to play though, so I guess you can't complain too much. Let's see, we killed this. Then
Well played.
Moving on. The next game we have is called Let's Go Nuts, and it's a squirrel, I think. Yeah, but I don't like the animation style. It seems like it's a platformer, old school, collect everything in the level type game where you're playing as a squirrel. Good name, bad animation. 40% off for $1.79. 9 more druid cards. 19 more druid cards need to be played. Not a lot of druid cards in the deck I'm playing. But I'd also like to get some victories while we're doing this. And I'm consistently having the problem of my final recording of the day being twice as long as all my other recordings. Here's a game that's I've seen this game before by somebody else. And it wasn't interesting when I saw it from the other person, so I'm gonna just ignore next 4, which unsurprisingly has a next 1, 2, and 3. It's just a box 2D puzzle physics game. I don't even know if you'd call it much of a game. Next. Speaking of not much of a game, next game is called Meteorite Defense Command, and the animation looks awful, so I'll close that without even looking any further. Let's see, Your Gamer has an article, Sega Mega Drive Classics new Steam VR support puts you back in the 90s. I'm not sure exactly what the Steam VR support does other than maybe making your screens just appear on your VR headset, which I guess is all you wanted to do. And we have an ugly looking kind of asset flip game called Planetary Settlers. I want to quit calling games asset flips because this could be all unique assets, it's just they're ugly. So we close that. Fallout 74 is rumored to be an online survival game. Everything I hear from other people who have heard from other people says that Fallout 76 is probably going to come out, if I was in my guess. That I'm hearing that it's going to come out very quickly. I suspect it's going to be like Fallout Shelter, and it's going to be out right after or during the Bethesda conference. So we'll find out real quick what it is, and it probably isn't much of a game that I don't think too many people are even going to be interested in playing it once they know what it is. PC Gamer has a article. Atone is a lovely looking puzzle game inspired by Norse mythology. Is Atone on PC? No, it's not scheduled for release until 2019, so why bother even having an article there?
Are the Shadow's puppets.
Got a game on Steam called D-Drive, D-E-D-R-I-V-E. It doesn't look animated very well. It's a top-down racing game, arcade style. I saw a beta version of that just about a week ago.
Now how about...
We've got a game called Dr. Frank's Build a Boyfriend, which is, they say, is a boys love visual novel mixed up with point-and-click adventures. And it says it's free-to-play simulation indie with nudity. The animation style is not great. It's not something I would like. I'd call it an artistic style, though. It's just not one I like. Very soft, almost marker-esque coloring.
Now how about...
This'll be good.
Let's see, are there any reviews for this game? It's 8 positive, 0 negative. Free to play, so I can't complain really. So if that interests you, it just doesn't seem like it would visually interest me enough to want to play it. Next game we have is called Gravity. This is, I believe, a multiplayer. No, it does have single player. What is this? A bunch of robots, I think, that are flying around shooting each other. 4 versus 4 I guess.
Let's see.
And there's low gravity or no gravity. So maybe they have grabbing arms. Yeah, something I've seen many times before, but it looks alright. 10% off for $13.49. So if you're into something like Smash Brothers, this might be a PC equivalent of a game similar to that. It catches your attention. Let's see. And we'll close that. And we'll close that. And then I'm at the Humble store, which means we're almost done. Well, ready for a post-show. When actually nowhere close to being done. As it is. Let's see. Let's try Druid deck over here on Wild Play. Because I need to go through the Twitter account and make sure that nothing hasn't happened, somebody hasn't died, or the world hasn't blown up or something. And then we'll be done. The Arma 2018 bundle is the only bundle I think that's right now worth mentioning. Let's So, and that is still a big if you're interested in armor games. Alright. So 6 minutes ago, there was a new game that came out. We'll talk about it on Monday.
Fights back.
See, Team YouTube said, thanks to everyone who let us know that you're not receiving upload and live stream notifications. We are aware and working on that fix. Well, I wasn't receiving any of those yesterday either. Probably for a week.
I am ready.
Then here we have an update that says this has now been fixed. Thanks to everyone for your reports. I love how Team YouTube says things have been fixed, because half the time they haven't been fixed and they just don't want to get any more reports. And then people come back and go, no, it hasn't been fixed, it's still not working. Which tells me that the technical support staff that runs YouTube is totally just BSing the Team YouTube Twitter people. They just don't care about what they say publicly. Continue scrolling down Twitter or following the What's on Steam app. What's on Steam Twitter account. Gungrave Games is retweeting me and liking my videos for Darksiders 2, which Darksiders 2 only has up to episode 2 so far, so you only have to go back 2 episodes to catch up. And that series will go for quite a long time, because Darksiders 2 was a rather way too long game. So I just need to get past Twitch's crazy sorting of things in non-chronological order. Let's see if we zoom a little bit bigger so I can read it on the screen easier. One of the weird things is, ever since I changed my dots per inch settings to play a Lego game,
This'll be good.
the resolution just didn't seem to really line up for my secondary monitor. See, Camera Switcher says ex-Microsoft exec Jay Allen speaks to the game industry's inherent burnout problem. Okay, so yeah, the video game industry does definitely have a burnout problem.
Now how about...
There's been no update as far as Australia changing its mind on We Happy Few, so we still kind of know that that's not going to, that's probably not coming out in Australia. Episode 911 of Hearthstone aired on my channel 3 hours ago. We have somebody new on the chat saying, hello everyone, have you ever played Magic the Gathering? Actually you wrote Magic the Gathering, which I guess technically no, I haven't played Magic the Gathering. A very, very long time ago, during the Ice Age expansion, I played Magic the Gathering. I haven't played it since any of the Planeswalkers stuff came about. So, I do know Magic the Gathering. I've yet to see a good version of Magic the Gathering on the digital format to play it. Hearthstone simplifies some things in Magic the Gathering, and I much prefer that they
The light protects me.
that there was a game closer to a good digital version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Than Magic the Gathering, because I feel like Magic the Gathering is too complicated, it's got too many cards, it has a sleaziness to it in which they ban old seasons and then they come out with versions of the the cards they just banned to resell, to make people repurchase them. There's also a pretty large number of people, it seems, that are just not happy with the expansions and the additions that have been coming out for Magic the Gathering for several years now. So I don't think that there's a hugely satisfied audience there. That's not too different as far as my personal feelings with Hearthstone. I'm not very satisfied with Hearthstone either, but it's kind of the best we've got right now. I don't think I'm going to go to Artifact and try and deal with the frustration of having to focus on 3 lanes. Remember, I'm just trying to play Druid cards right now. And so, yeah, I don't know anything better. If Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out, it had a good PC interface, I'd probably want to play that because I like the idea of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards where you have insanely stupid things like Exodia and you can just win. Inherently, my problem with all collectible card games on I guess every interface is that they are trying to make you have a 50% win ratio, where most games you die once in 60 hours. That's not a 50% win ratio, that's a 99.99999 win ratio. And so it just doesn't feel fun, personally, for me to play Hearthstone, because I'm losing all the time. And then they give me daily quests that require me to win, so I'm banging my head often against a wall just trying to get those daily victories. I have 2 victories right now I need to go do in the Silent Post show on my European account. Now, I tripled my struggle in Hearthstone by being a YouTuber and wanting to be able to play people in Europe and Asia also. So I made 3 different versions of the same account for different regions, but then inherently that's still Hearthstone's fault, because why don't they just merge those regions and let me play everybody around the world? I kind of get why there's a separate 4th region for China only that I can't see, because that's China's legal system and their Great Firewall, but there's really no reason why they couldn't just merge Europe and Asia and America's accounts. Am I in rank 25? Yes, the account just rolled over back down to 25, plus I wasn't really playing wild on anything. Even though I've been playing this game for 4 years, I still am just trying to play standard to keep things simplistic and try and increase the win ratio. It all kind of builds around win ratios and getting daily quests done. And that's kind of the only reason I'm even playing Hearthstone, is to get daily quests, to get cards, to do card pack opening videos that people like to watch. And Hearthstone gives me a reason to talk about news. So to get back to the news, 5 hours ago, Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition number 2, episode 2, aired on my channel. And Gunfire Games was the developer of Darksiders 2, and they are retweeting, liking my videos. Although I don't know what liking someone's video on Twitter really does. Probably nothing. But if it does nothing, most people don't even bother to do that much. Let's see. And so I started following Gunfire Games, but I'm probably gonna have to mute them immediately because they are retweeting too much stuff. It's kind of weird they're retweeting Darksiders stuff when they can't be that close to releasing Darksiders 3. Assassin's Creed Revelations number 8. That's another series that's going to go on for a while. Aired on my channel 5 hours ago. So some catch up there for Assassin's Creed Revelations. Dark Side of the Moon says Bertelli. Like, I don't know what he's referencing, if not just the song and the music. Let's go ahead and attack here just to make sure it's not a freezing trap. Oh, I was talking about Darksiders, the video game, not Dark Side of the Moon. I have no knowledge whatsoever of the album. Like, I'm a critic of video games, and I'd be a horrible critic of music because I don't know what sounds good and what doesn't. Which inherently, I guess, says that I don't criticize video game music too often either, or it's a different type of music that I listen to in video game music.
Handle it.
Scrolling down Twitter, this should be our last game on the stream. I'm already an hour and 16 minutes over, so it's been 2 hours.
This'll be good.
Scrolling down. Full Throttle Remastered, episode 3 aired on my channel 7 hours ago. Double Fine game. Nice point and click game. Here we have Gamma Sutra as an analyst saying 77% of the 4.5 million apps on the iOS storefront are games, which is down in percentage compared to previous years. So someone was asking, would the world be different if Steve Jobs was still alive? Inherently, I think there'd be less of a percentage of games on iOS because he definitely was not happy with 77% of them being games. But then it's also hard to put anything that's not a game on the iOS store because Valve tried to put an app that would let you stream your games from your home computer to your iPhone, and they rejected the app because, and my understanding is, they didn't want you buying games on Steam. They wanted you buying games on the iOS market and getting a 30% cut, which is ridiculous because it's not the same games in almost every instance. Buying a PC game, streaming it from your PC to your cell phone is nowhere the same as buying a mobile game. So only in the smallest, most narrow-minded perspective of competing against somebody's time is there really any conflict there at all.
Job done.
It'd be really surprising if there's really no new news. I'm scrolling down. And I've been streaming for quite a while, but it is Friday, so I also could see why nobody's gonna announce anything. Although, for all the games that are just not really games on Steam, you half wonder why they don't try and sneak some of them out during the weekend.
This'll be good.
Late on a Friday evening. I guess there's inherently a desire to actually make your game seen and sell. Just keep on scrolling down. Once I'm done scrolling through my Twitter feed, then that's it. I keep running into this problem of the last thing I ever do on the stream is scrolling down the Twitter feed, which is not super interesting and not probably great for my fingers alone, just all that mouse wheel scrolling. Wish Twitter had a plugin. I probably should look for like some kind of plugin that's like seen it. Have I seen this tweet? If I have, hide it from me. Just let me check boxes as I'm seeing them. That would be rather helpful. Yeah, in fact, I definitely need to do that, don't I? I need to go look and see if there's a...
Can I help you, sir?
I need to see if there's like a plugin. Well, one more victory and I'll get that card back for next month. That's not proving to be very difficult. Alright, so I need to play one more druid card and I can probably just quit and concede after that. It doesn't matter, I'm not going to lose stars. And if it really is just victories I need to get, I guess I'm not going to do a silent post show. I keep trying to not do post shows because they're boring. And Priya Berto says, you don't know Dark Side of the Moon? I know it's an album. What kind of music do you often listen to? What you said about Avicii's death. I have no idea who Avicii is. What kind of music do I listen to? Almost none. Video game music. Whatever's playing in the video game. And usually video game music is designed to be calming and repetitive and just things that keep you playing the game. It's not designed to be big orchestral music where it catches your attention and you're actually listening to it, or big rock band music with lyrics or anything like that. So my main ingestion of music is bland background music, video game background music, not stage music. So yes, I know Dark Side of the Moon is I think Pink Floyd album. I like watching Pink Floyd The Wall maybe about once a year, but I don't know really too much other than that. Like, so I would be a horrible critic for music. And I have no idea who Avicii is. So that probably also is a huge statement on like music that I don't know. I also would say, from a almost 100% complete outsider's perspective, it seems like the music that people listen to has gotten more and more wild and varied, and it's just spread out into a lot of different genres, but it hasn't inherently improved the quality of music because there's just a lot more room for vapid clones and pop musicians. So there's a lot more pop singers now just singing boring, repetitive songs. There seems to be a lot more rappers who I think are doing boring, bad rap. Some genres never really caught on.
Amazing.
So we don't have any ukulele players yet, but and we don't have like, I don't know, really weird instrument players, but yeah, there's just so much I didn't do. I took computer programming classes in high school, so I did not have to be in any music classes in the United States at all. The United States during that time really wasn't funding music classes or music appreciation, so I took something like in elementary school to listen to music, and that was it. That was the last time I was required to listen to anything. And there are like musicals that I like, but I think those are different things. So
Let's see.
So like if I say I like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I think I'm pretty much am saying that more for a storyline reason than for the music. Or if I like Evita, that's probably for more of a storyline or such. Just yeah. Let's see. Pre-Bertelli said he was a DJ. What kind of programming languages do I know?
Amazing.
I guess most of them, or I could figure out most. I was trained in JavaScript, which isn't much of a programming language. C++ Basic. I've trained myself in PHP and Apache and MySQL things. I've been around Java enough to kind of know its in and outs decently well, to at least be able to see and understand what's trying to be done. Some of them I haven't done are like Ruby on Rails, but I've had enough experience in every language that I can at the very least know where to start learning it to program it. Like it was my intention at one time to be a video game programmer, and so I was going to classes trying to learn that and do that. So we're in a weird position now. We've done everything on the Americas account, so the only thing I need now is victories. And so, in a weird way for a YouTuber, the decision I'm going to put directly in Pirelli's hand. Like pre-Bertelli's hand. Do you want to continue asking me questions and watch me play, or do you have no more questions? Because I'm ready to wrap up. So I'm gonna give you, let's just two more minutes to either say I've got more questions, or I'm gonna wrap up, and then I'm gonna play these two victories off screen, because it's boring to do a post show with me being muted, which is what I call the silent post show, and there's really no reason for me to stream it just to get a few pathetic views. Let's see. Pre-Bertelli asked me a question. No, sorry, I don't try to ask or encourage people to reveal personal information on the thing. So, and frankly, I don't have any questions for you. It's like, it was nice talking to you, it was nice talking to everybody, but I've been streaming for quite a while. I will be back on Monday. So, Pre-Bertelli does frowny face. I'll be back on Monday, some inconsistent time between 2 in the afternoon Central Time and 5 or 6 in the evening Central Time. I've not been doing well with insomnia, so can't even get close to a guess there. That's going to be it for the stream. Nice talking to everybody. Sorry if I upset you, but I really don't have any questions. I don't like asking fans questions too much. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. That helps me with YouTube allegedly. When you subscribe, click the notification bell so there's at least a tiny bit of a chance of a hope that you'll actually get notifications. I'm still in the process of working out a Google Calendar, which would probably be a better notification place. Or, you know, following me on Twitter or Facebook or Tumblr or whatever the link is down there that you're actually on also is a great place to get notifications when videos come out. Remember, I also on my channel have a lot of other videos and pre-recorded footage comes out, so it's not just Hearthstone. Go check something else out. Then finally, right now the only monetization policy on my channel is to ask people to friend me on Steam and gift me either games or gift cards. The Steam Summer Sale is happening mid-June. That's a great time to gift games. If you want to send me a gift card now, I can save up for that. Any game you send me is going to the top of the list as far as games that I'll cover. And also, if you have like a Steam code, just direct message that to me on Twitter from like a Humble Store, Humble Bundle purchase. Pre Batelli said, good luck with your streamer life. Thank you. And is there anything else? No, that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.